Hey everybody, welcome back to BobkeTV. Up today, why I don't use a power meter. I know if you're devoted to your power meter, and a lot of people are, these are the ravings of Beelzebub, but bear with me, and I will hopefully adequately explain why I don't use a power meter. And let me just say this right off the top. If I was a professional cyclist, I would definitely be using a power meter, at least in training. If I'm doing a race to get ready for other races, that's pretty common. When you're peaking for that one event you think you can win, a lot of races that you do are maybe not necessarily you there to win. You're there to get race miles. So I would definitely be using a power meter for everything except perhaps the one event where I didn't care what my watts were. I was all in for the win. I can see that as being an accurate scenario. Another group of people, if you're devoted to your power meter and you're not a professional cyclist and it helps you get out the door and motivates you to do more miles, to improve a little bit, maybe to optimize your strength, your power versus your weight, get that to the perfect level. In order to do that, you need a scale, obviously, and a power meter. And if that's what gets you out the door more often, more, excuse the pun, power to you. But for me, there's a few reasons why I don't use a power meter. And one that I can't deny, even though it seems pretty silly, is the aesthetic of the bicycle, the simple beauty. Frame, double diamond, two wheels, pedals, chain, nice sew-up tires, handlebars, perfect saddle. The look, the aesthetics, the presentation as a piece of art with soul that the bicycle is in its simplest and purest form is a big attraction of what I enjoy about cycling. I love it when my bike is set up so the position is perfect, the paint scheme is integrated, all the components work perfectly, and a big display screen and extra parts on the crank or at the rear wheel that disrupt that aesthetic is one reason why I don't use a power meter. As superficial as that might sound, that's one of the reasons for me. Another reason is probably the main attraction that cycling has for me, and that is freedom of movement under your own power. Put some air in the tires, put some lube on the chain, bring your credit card, go for a ride that takes 7 or 8 days, stay in hotels, eat at restaurants. All you need is your credit card, maybe your driver's license. Although if you have your address, birth date, height, weight, and eye color memorized, you probably don't need your driver's license or your ID card or your passport. You need to remember what it says so they can look you up. But nowadays, I think if you just have your name and address, you're in a database somewhere. So you don't need your driver's license. You do need your credit card if you want to buy stuff. And sometimes that might be necessary if you have a mechanical incident. I don't need to know the power that I'm making these days because it's mostly the power that I'm not making. And sadly enough, as my power has gone down, my weight has gone up. So I will never have the optimized relationship that I did have before power meters were common when I was a professional cyclist. I am a little bit intrigued, and I would be very curious as to know what kind of power numbers my teammates and I made in those years compared to the power numbers that riders are making today in the professional peloton. Power numbers are a closely guarded secret for most professional cyclists. They don't want their competitors to know and maybe be given extra hope or having a benchmark of what they need to do, what they need to aspire to. And if somebody starts making similar numbers to their competitors in training, and they knew what they were, that would give them more confidence perhaps when they race against them. So most professionals, I think, closely guard their power numbers. The sprinters, I'm sure, don't want their competitors to know how many watts they're capable of making, their maximum watts. Because the presumption would be, if you can make more, you could probably beat that guy. That would change the dynamic of the sprints dramatically, and every other aspect of professional cycling. So it might be a while before the wattage, the power numbers of the professional cyclists are commonly known, are something you can research. But for me, if I was racing now, I'm most certain that I would have power meters. But now that I don't have to race for a living, I prefer not to. And those are the reasons why. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. Thanks for your comments. Let me know some of the attractions you might have if you use a power meter that I've forgotten about in your training and racing. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Thumbs up, greatly appreciated. Go to the comments section. Ask any questions you'd like. Make any comments you want to, as long as the language is nice and clean. Click on my face to subscribe. Click on the t-shirt icon to buy merchandise. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot.